How does a rubber boy beat a man made of sand? I mean, really think about that. How do you punch sand? The answer is a story in three parts, with two brutal, humiliating defeats and a final desperate gamble that involves his own blood. This is the story of the first time Monkey D. Luffy stared into the face of true despair and punched his way right through it. Let's set the scene. We're in Alabasta, a beautiful desert kingdom that is dying of thirst. For years, not a single drop of rain has fallen anywhere but the capital city. The ground is cracked. The people are desperate and they're angry. They're blaming their king, a good man named Cobra, because they've been led to believe he's still in the rain for himself. But it's all a lie, a twisted, heartbreaking lie. This is the world the Straw Hat Pirates sail into. They're fresh off the boat, new to the Grand Line, and they think they're ready for anything. They have no idea what they're in for. They've stumbled into a civil war, a massive conspiracy cooked up by one man, Sir Crocodile. Now, this guy isn't just some pirate. He's one of the 7 warlords of the sea, which means he's got the world government's stamp of approval. To the public, he's a hero, the guy who protects them from other meaner pirates, but behind the scenes, he's the one pulling all the strings. He's the one who secretly caused the drought. His secret organization, Barco Works, has been poisoning the kingdom with lies for years, pushing it to a breaking point. And why? What's the end game? Well, taking over Alabasta is just step 1 of his master plan, Operation Utopia. What he's really after is buried deep beneath the palace, the location of an ancient superweapon called Pluton. With that kind of firepower, he could take over the whole world. He's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers, and the only thing standing in his way is a 17-year-old kid in a straw hat. Luffy, seeing what this monster has done to his new friend, Princess Vivi, and her country, decides he's had enough. He goes to face Crocodile head on in the middle of the scorching desert. His plan is simple, almost childishly so. He'll be a distraction. He'll keep the big bad busy so Vivi can try to stop the rebellion. But what happens when you try to punch a man who can just turn into sand? You get destroyed. This first round isn't a fight, it's a beatdown. Luffy throws everything he's got, his Gum-Gumino pistol, his Gum-Gumino bazooka, all the moves that have worked on everyone else, and they do nothing. His fists just fly right through Crocodile's sandy body. It's the first time he's faced a Logia-type Devil Fruit user, and he is completely out of his league. Crocodile, on the other hand, barely seems to be trying. He casually swings his arms and splits the desert in half. He creates a giant pit of quicksand just by pointing. But he's not just trying to win, he wants to crush Luffy's spirit. He laughs at him, mocks his ideals, and tells him friendship is for fools. Then he does something truly evil. He knows Luffy has a soft spot for an old man trying to bring an oasis back to life in a nearby town. So he creates a massive sandstorm and sends it right for that town. It's a trap, and Luffy, blinded by rage, falls right into it. He charges, and Crocodile runs him through with his giant golden hook. It's one of the most shocking moments in the series. The hero is impaled, bleeding out in the sand. Crocodile just scoffs, calls him a pathetic rookie, and leaves him to sink into a pit of quicksand to die. This is it. The first time Luffy has ever truly, completely lost. So how in the world did he survive? Well, he got help from the last person you'd expect, Crocodile's own partner, the mysterious Nico Robin. For her own reasons, she pulls him out of the sand, but as he was sinking, as he was dying, Luffy had a breakthrough. He remembered the feeling of that hook going through him. For just a split second, Crocodile's body felt solid. He put 2 and 2 together. Liquid. Sand gets clumpy when it's wet. So armed with this game-changing discovery and a huge barrel of water, Luffy crashes the party at the Royal Palace for round 2. And at first, it's amazing. He splashes his fist with water and suddenly he can hit him. He's landing real punches on the untouchable man. Crocodile is stunned, but he's smart. He destroys the barrel. You'd think that's game over, right? Nope. Luffy, being Luffy, just drinks all the water that's left turning himself into a giant sloshing water balloon man, Mizu Luffy. He can now spit water like a machine gun, keeping Crocodile on the defensive. It's hilarious, it's brilliant, and it's actually working. But you don't become a warlord by being a one-trick pony. Crocodile has an ace up his sleeve, and it's terrifying. With just the touch of his right hand, he can suck the moisture out of anything. Pause. He touches the palace floor and it turns to dust, and then he touches Luffy. In an instant, every drop of water in Luffy's body is ripped out of him. For the second time, Luffy is left defeated. But this time it's worse. He's a dried up, mummified husk. There's no coming back from this. It would take a literal act of God to save him, and that's pretty much what happens. A single drop of water that Luffy had spat into the air earlier just happens to fall right on him, bringing him back from the brink. You can't make this stuff up. So here we are, 2 losses, 2 near-death escapes. Luffy has no more water and he's cornered, his mortal enemy in a crumbling tomb deep underground. Nico Robin is lying nearby, bleeding out after Crocodile struck her down for lying to him. This is it, the final round. How can he possibly win? The fight starts and again Luffy punches are useless. But then one connects, a solid, heavy punch that sends Crocodile staggering. The warlord is in disbelief. There's no water. How did he do it? Luffy holds up his fist and the answer is grim. The answer is as grim as it is incredible. It's his own blood. He's coating his hands in his own blood to make Crocodile's sand body solid enough to hit. He is literally putting his life on the line with every single punch, all to keep a promise he made to a friend. This is the last straw for Crocodile. He's been pushed, humiliated, and outsmarted by a kid who just won't stay down. So he pulls out his last resort. Hidden under his golden hook is a smaller, wicked-looking hook, dripping with scorpion poison. He lashes out, cutting Luffy's arm and leg. The poison starts spreading. Now it's a race against time. Luffy has to win, and he has to win now, or he's dead. Ignoring the fire spreading through his veins, Luffy puts everything he has left into one final spectacular attack. He sucks in a huge breath, inflating himself, and then blasts the air out to shoot himself into the air. He starts twisting, and then unleashes a hurricane of hundreds of punches. Gumma Gumma no Storm. It's a whirlwind of bloody fists. The attack is so powerful it shatters Crocodile's poison hook, and just pummels him, driving him up, up, up. With one last earth-shattering punch, Luffy sends Crocodile flying straight through the solid rock ceiling of the tomb. But this was more than just a knockout punch, it was symbolic. Crocodile built his empire in the dark from secret underground bases. Luffy's final attack literally punched him out of the darkness and into the light, sending his unconscious body crashing down in the city square. For everyone, the soldiers, the rebels, the citizens he tricked to see, the boogeyman was real and he was defeated. And in that exact moment, it started to rain. For the first time in years, rain fell on Alabasta. It was like the sky itself was crying with relief. The fighting just stopped. Everyone looked up, stunned, with the truth lying unconscious in the middle of the square. The war was over. The kingdom could finally start to heal. For Crocodile, the fall was fast and hard. The Marines who were right there to see it all arrested him on the spot and stripped him of his warlord title. He was shipped off to the world's worst prison, impaled down. His defeat sent shockwaves through the world government. It was the first time their warlord system had failed so spectacularly, and it was the beginning of the end for that whole program. And for the Straw Hats, well, Luffy had saved Nico Robin's life. With her boss defeated and nowhere left to turn, she decided to turn her lot in with the rubber boy who did the impossible. She joined the crew and their journey would never be the same. So, when you break it all down, how did Luffy pull it off? It was a 3-act play. Act 1, get completely destroyed and learn a hard lesson. Act 2, come up with a clever plan that almost works, but get destroyed again. Act 3, throw everything you have, including your own life force, into one last desperate push. But the real reason Crocodile lost, his ego. He was the classic villain who just had to monologue, who had to prove he was smarter and better. He beat Luffy twice, but He never made sure the job was done. He just walked away, and that gave Luffy the time he needed to learn, adapt, and come back. He'd gotten lazy, used to being the biggest fish in a small pond, and he just wasn't ready for someone with Luffy's insane level of willpower. And yeah, you could say Luffy got lucky. Robin saved him, the water drop saved him, and Robin had the antidote for the poison. But in the world of One Piece, that's not just plot armor, it's part of Luffy's real power. He has this incredible ability to make people believe in him, to turn enemies into friends, to literally bend fate to his will, just by refusing to ever give up. This whole saga, this 3-round war, became the blueprint for how Luffy would take on giants of the world, from Rob Lucci all the way to Kaido. He proved that his path to becoming the Pirate King was never going to be easy. It was going to be paved with brutal defeats, but time he falls, he gets back up stronger, smarter, and more determined than ever. The battle for Alabasta was more than just a fight. It was the moment a kid from a tiny village became a legend.